Well, so you would think in the middle of everything going on, this would be us being forced to change our priorities a little bit and kind of only put the very important stuff up there at the front. But Land O'Lakes, I can remember this. My wife still uses this product or does from time to time, and Greg, I can remember when we were kids or whatever. The Land O'Lakes butter. Mm-hmm. All of you guys, I don't know if your family's got this, but we did. Yeah. We're now how long? It said over for nearly 100 years.
Yeah. 100.
Let's say that again. 100 years. Okay.
100.
For 100 years, we've had this Native American, if you want to call, a member of an Indian tribe. I know you never know what words you're allowed to use and not use. But anyway, she is not depicted in any negative way. They're showing that the great outdoors and this delicious product, we have her and dressed in traditional tribal garb, and she's holding up a box of Land O'Lakes. And for 100 years, no issue with this at all. Now, I'm assuming that we've had Native Americans in our country inside those 100 years the entire time.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have.
So, and nobody has a problem with it. So remember, 1921 till now, no issue. But now we have issues with it for some reason because of the new time that we've been living in. And so Land O'Lakes has said they have been called racist, and they've been criticized for its use of the butter Maiden. Now, I know that a lot of us...
The butter Maiden.
The butter Maiden.
I didn't know that
you
was
called
the
it, Greg. Remember?
The
butter Maiden.
Well, that's what they're saying here in the story.
Yeah.
I love it.
Now, keep in mind, it's in a beautiful outdoor setting. Again, there's not one thing negative about it.
I really didn't notice if it was an Indian or not. I just thought I always knew there was a woman on there, but I didn't really think.
Yeah, I just wanted butter.
I didn't know what she was.
I noticed that it was, and it wasn't presented with a negative way at all. I mean, what's next? Are we mad about we don't like the way the guys depict on Quaker oats? I mean, is that upsetting us?
Yeah. What about if you're a Quaker?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Quaker lineage.
Well, Greg, remember those? But anyway, they have announced in a press release that they will now show their packaging without the butter Maiden as they celebrate and they move toward their 100th anniversary. We've recognized we need packaging that reflects the foundation and the heart of our company culture, and nothing does that better than our farmer owners whose milk is used to produce Land O'Lakes dairy products. So we're not going to depict the butter Maiden anymore. We're going to start putting farmers on there, or maybe have it without it at all.
And what's this change? Does this change what happened? The world just got better?
They said also, Greg, in good news, the minute the butter Maiden was removed from the package, the COVID-19 pandemic ended.
Well, this is hand in hand, Rick.
Yeah.
All I can say is look out, Aunt Jemima.
There it is.
Oh, well, she's been.
I can't believe they've let Aunt Jemima go that long.
Greg, she's in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just shocked there's a thing called a butter Maiden.
Yeah, the butter Maiden. But guys, do you understand? Don't miss the fact that there's no cartooning of it. There's no making fun. It simply is depicting a woman who might have been in an Indian tribe, dressed the way she would have been dressed. She's very modestly presented. She's standing there holding the butter, like, look at this delicious butter, have some. Mm-hmm. And so what
Indians probably made really good butter at one time. I don't know.
Well, what's racist? But how can you ever say, I'll tell you what, that right there is racist?
Let's say it was Land of Honkies cheese.
Right.
Okay. And it had a white person on it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't care.
No.
Greg, it doesn't even say Land of Indians. It's Land of Lakes. I mean, there's nothing that in this entire packaging that could have ever been deemed racist or inappropriate. Why would we crumble to this kind? Sometimes you got to tell these people, where have you been for the last 99 years?
Yeah.
Well, we talked about it earlier. I bet there's not one Indian that was offended. Whoever started all this is probably not even an Indian.
Do you remember the other day when, Mike Leach got into his trouble?
Yeah.
And Jeremiah from Los Angeles called, who said he was African American, and he said, I don't know one African American that would be bothered by this meme of the elderly lady that's tired of being with her husband all the time, and she's sewing him a scarf and it's a noose. And he said, this is a classic example of people being offended on your behalf.
Yes.
And then once they tell you should be offended, then people will jump on board because we like to be a victim. For some reason, there was a time where really being a victim was something we all tried to avoid.
Yeah.
I mean, does anybody say, God, I'm really upset I haven't been a victim in a while? I really try to avoid victimhood. Why does anybody want to be a victim? But now it seems to be mod. It's like, man, you look excited today. Well, you like you're having a good day. Just found out I was a victim. Oh, really? Yeah, I can't wait to get on social media and wallow in my victimhood.
See, I would rather.
Hey, you bothered by
Land
Land O'Lakes? No, I'm not. Well, you should be. Well, thanks for pointing me to that. I think I am bothered by it.
Let me ask you this too. Let's just assume they did want to change. Now is the time. Why now?
No, I know.
Well, that's 100 years coming up, I guess. That's kind of what they alluded to.
How about if I'm Land O'Lakes and I really want to change it, I just change it and don't announce it.
Yeah, just let somebody call and go, hey, why'd y'all change it?
But Greg,
you're just grandstanding. That's all you're doing.
That's
I would
exactly
just go out like get the butter Maiden off and let's put like Cowboy Roy or somebody like that in there.
Greg,
Cowboy Roy,
no.
the cheese cowboy.
Do you know why you can't put him on there? The way he treated the Indians.
Well, that's a good point, Rick. Never mind. Let's just have a sunset and talk about. And how about let's put a lake on there?
Greg, but
let's put a lake.
Greg, wait a minute.
Put a cow that the butter came from.
Greg, wait a minute. Sunset. Are you trying to suggest that maybe this is what are you trying to say here?
All right, I've got a.
Is this some way to? You're talking about God? Maybe this is not God showing us a glimpse of heaven, is it?
Well, that's true.
You backward, Jesus,
God's
loving.
butter.
Yeah, let me tell you something. God. So this is just this is one of those things where you picture me sitting down at the camp, and I would love to have this moment. I'm sitting there at the conference room. Hey, Mr. Burgess, you ever thought about maybe us changing this logo we got on our butter? You're talking about the butter we've been selling like hotcakes for over 100 years.
Yeah, that butter.
Yeah. Hey, I think it's going to be an obstacle for us. You talking like it's been for the last 99 years? We've been cranking out butter for 99 years. Are you saying this is such an obstacle we may not make it to 200 years? I mean, what are you even saying?
All right, I'm trying to put my liberal hat on here. All right, it's a 7 1/4. That's a little tight, but do you think because on the logo, and I'm trying to figure it out here, where it says farmer owned, it's right beside her. Are they trying to insinuate? Oh, look, are you claiming that farmers own Indians?
You know, that's the dumbest thing I've heard. But the people you're talking about are so stupid. That's possible.
I don't know.
But
almost like they feel like
a bigger point here that we're having all this discussion about butter.
Yeah. It's butter,
and we're leaving it out. But those little individual cheese squares they make are really good.
You're right,
Greg. Can I go back to this again? Yeah. Here's where you mess up.
Perfect size, perfect for a cracker.
Yeah, Greg. I call this.
Watch it.
Listen, I call this the great Cracker Barrel mistake because they're the ones who did it and they corrected it. Is when you do not know your audience. Okay.
Yeah.
The very people that Land O'Lakes is trying to cater to right now have demonized butter. I mean, that's not your audience. Yeah. That is not your audience. When Cracker Barrel tried to crumble on the Duck Dynasty thing, Cracker Barrel, do you have any idea who comes in there and eats your food?
Yeah.
I mean, have you lost your mind? You've got Kenny Rogers' greatest hits in the country store. Yeah, I mean, it's like, and then they quickly had an about face because they realized the only people they were catering to don't come to Cracker Barrel anyway.
And I've heard the Redskins. We've had them protests, and Chief Wahoo. We've had those. I've never once heard anybody bring up Land O'Lakes. Not once. You
know why, Greg? Because there's nothing here that looks bigoted in any way.
Because
it's honoring.
Butter.
Every time I see a logo like this, I think, man, that's an honor to be on that.
Yeah.
Well,
not anymore.
I wish my face was on.
If you think Aunt Jemima's going to survive, you are incorrect.
No way.
Surprised that she's survived this long.
She's had some pushback before, but she just keeps going on through. You know why it is?
Syrup's good.
It is very good. I wish I had a bowl of it right now.
It calms me to see her face on the bottle. It makes me feel calm.